If you're fishing the California Delta, you know that a big part of your angling success is going to be due to local knowledge and skill. This past week, it's not just local knowledge and skill, it's the day that you were on the river and maybe the hour of the day that you were on the river, because these storm fronts have produced some amazing bite windows, amazing short bite windows, and in between those short bite windows, there's been a lot of downtime. We'll talk about that as we get into the report, but before we do, let's take a look at a few pictures of some recent catches, then we'll get into the report. So let's check it out. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly fishing report for April 23rd. You probably noticed I had to change my location. I was out at Paradise Point, and guess what? Storm front moved in and started dumping rain. So here I am back at home, warm and dry, and we'll finish up the report right here. We'll make sure you get all of the information that you need if you're planning on heading out next week. I'm going to start the report this week on a serious note. If you've been watching the news, you probably already know we had a serious boating accident out on the Delta. It was a couple of bass boats involved during a tournament, and there was some pretty major injuries. And I'd like to first start off by saying that everyone that received the injuries is doing well. They're going to recover. They're going to be out fishing hopefully before too long. So thank God for that. But what I wanted to do was not talk so much about this one particular accident. I just wanted to use this situation to remind everybody summer is here. We might not know that from the weather today, but the sun's going to come out. We've got a lot of boats on the river. People are fishing, they're skiing. We've got jet skis out there, cruisers. It's just getting crowded. So please, please, please keep safety in mind. Slow down, be aware of your surroundings, and just watch out for the other guy. Boating accidents happen so fast, and they can change your life in an instant. So please slow down and be safe. All right. With that, let's get into a little bit of news. We'll talk about that real quick, and then we'll get into the reports. We have the Bass Hole Team Tournament coming up this Sunday. That's going to be April 26th out at Orwood Resort. If you need any information on that, call Rob at 925-813-9485. I'm going to try to be out there and see what's going on and give you a report on what happens with that tournament. We also have the Clear Lake Channel Cat Classic. That's coming up April 25th and 26th, obviously out at Clear Lake. $8,000 guaranteed first place. You can get the information that you need to get signed up and everything that you need to know on that if you just check out channelcatclassic.com. That'll get you all the information that you need. The Modesto Ambassadors Bass Club is holding their 53rd annual Night Team Classic. That's going to be June 6th out at Flaming Meadows on down Pedro. If you're interested in getting involved in that tournament, check out the Modesto Ambassadors site and you'll get all the information you need for that. If you're interested in crappie fishing, you want to get in a little crappie tournament, the Crappie Closet Lures Clear Lake Crappie Tournament Series is going to have another tournament coming up Saturday, May 9th. That's going to be out at Richmond Park. Guaranteed $1,000 first place. If you have any questions, you can call Marlon at 510-691-0586. And whether you have questions about the tournament or crappie fishing, pan fishing, bass fishing in general, don't be afraid to call Marlon. He'll give you all the information you need to know to get out and start catching crappie, panfish, black bass, whatever you're fishing for. Marlon's a good guy. He is also the man behind Crappie Closet Lures, and he can get you set up with all the crappie lures that you need. And we also had, I think, the 5th in the series, crappie fishing tournament series for Clear Lake was held last week. First place was Omar and Mercedes James with 11 pounds, 11.20 I think, big fish of 258. And second place was Craig Nelson and Jerry Meyer. They had 11.1, just behind them, very close tournament, and they had a 2.5, just a 2.51 I think for second place. So with that, let's get into the Clear Lake fishing report, and we'll start off with the one bass tournament that was held, I think it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I talked to Dave from Clear Lake Outdoors, and although the winning weights were really pretty good, not great for Clear Lake, but pretty good. I think the average weights were somewhere around, 25 to 30 pounds over the 3 days per day. That's what it took to win the tournament. But all in all, the fishing was pretty tough. And if you looked at the weights through the 130 boat tournament, there was a lot of pros that didn't weigh in 5 fish limits, and they had very low weights. And Dave and I talked about this, and if you look at that, you might think, man, the fishing was really tough up there. But the reality is, when you have a professional fishing tournament, these guys are all swinging for the fence. They don't care if they go out and they catch 30 or 40 fish, and a lot of those fish are 3, 4, 5 pounds, 6 pounds. When you fish Clear Lake, you better be looking for 6, 7, and 8 pound fish if you want to be in that top 10, top 3. And keep that in mind. As I talked to Dave, he said, don't be afraid to come up as a weekend angler and throw on a drop shot. You'll catch plenty of fish. More than likely, you're going to do pretty well. You're not swinging for the fences. You're not trying to catch those 30-pound bags. You're going out to have fun. You throw on a drop shot, you're going to catch a lot of fish. They could be from 1 to 3 pounds with a 4 or 5 pound fish sprinkled in, and maybe even a 6 or 7 pounder. You never know at Clear Lake. But the bottom line is, don't be afraid to go out just because a lot of the guys in the tournament had a difficult time. Remember, they're swinging for the fence, and a lot of times you can't hit that fence, or you can't knock it over the fence every time. If you have any questions on up to the minute conditions, give Clear Lake Outdoors a call. I'll put their number up there, and you can talk to Dave or Nino or any of the guys up there, and they'll put you on the fish. I guarantee it. With that, let's move on to Don Pedro. I talked to Aaron Jones from Central Valley Bait and Tackle, and he reported that before the storm front started moving in, the fishing had been very good. Obviously, they had a lot of rain dump up there. Don Pedro, like a lot of the mother lode lakes, there's more water coming in than going out, so a lot of them are rising, which is great. We need the water here, and it's going to be, may not be great for the fishing immediately, but it's going to be great for the fishing throughout the summer. Anyhow, Aaron reports a couple things. Don Pedro is still fishing well, and it's fishing, all the other mother lode lakes are kind of falling in line. He's talking about New Maloney's. He's got some reports from up there. I've had friends that are up at New Maloney's. They're doing well. And all the mother lode lakes are fishing pretty well. But Aaron says if you're going up to Don Pedro, fish are shallow. You want to fish from the bank out to about 20 feet. He mentioned 4 baits, an underspin, a jerk bait, a Cinco, and obviously if you have forward-facing sonar, you want to use a minnow imitation. Those are going to work through the summer. But he also mentioned that there is a decent topwater bite. It was just getting going before the storms. It's still happening. If you want to catch fish on those topwater baits, you have to stick to them, though. Stick to your guns and give them time to work. So that's Aaron's report, and I have a feeling that in the next week or so, as the sun comes out, all of these mother lode lakes are going to really start picking up. Let's get to the Delta. What's going on in the Delta? Well, as I mentioned in the intro, it's more about the time, the day that you're there, and the hour that you're there. Because when these storms come, storm fronts move through, they bring with them some bite windows that can be incredible, but they're very short. So if you are able to get out on the river on a certain day when you've got those fronts coming in and out, and you're able to fish through them and hit some of those 15, 20-minute bite windows, you're going to have a really good day. Now, between those bite windows, you're going to go for an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours with 1 or 2 bites. So just keep that in mind. Not so much that you're a great fisherman, you just have to be out there on a great day and you will see the potential of the California Delta. So with that, what do we have? We've got a lot of rain. I think it's dumped a little over 1 inch in the last day or so. It has not been a problem as far as visibility in the central delta around Paradise Point. We've got 3 to 5, 6 feet of visibility. I have had reports from down south. There are areas that have a foot of visibility. There are places up north that have a foot of visibility, but it's really not affecting the fishing. One thing that has affected the fishing is these cold nights and cold surface temperatures. We've dropped from about 70 to 71 degrees about 10 days ago down to, I've had reports as far as 63 degrees. Most of my fishing, I've been in about 65 degree water temps, depending on if you're out there in the early morning or, if the sun comes up, it'll warm up a little bit. But it's problematic this time of year with the barometer jumping around and water temperatures changing. So we are in shifting patterns and we're in kind of a phase where we just have to wait for these fronts to come through and things are going to really perk up. So with that, the stripers are going strong. I have not got a lot of reports that guys are going out and just targeting stripers. I know Joe from Core Fishing gave me another report. He's been out. He's doing his damage on jerk baits. Everybody that has been fishing tournaments, they're all catching stripers. If they put on a jerk bait or a chatterbait or maybe a crankbait, they all seem to be not complaining. Obviously, they're fun to catch, but when you're fishing a tournament, you want those big bites to be largemouth bass and not stripers. But all of the tournament guys are catching fish. There are a lot of undersized fish when you're throwing jerk baits, but most of those guys mixed in with the undersized fish, they're catching the nice schooly fish up to about 24, 25 inches. So the striper fishing, I am almost 100% sure that next week I'm going to have a lot better striper report for you, because as this water starts shooting down into the delta, the rainwater, the stripers are going to do nothing but move right in, and they're going to be in here, and I think it's going to be really good for the striper fishing. Let's talk about the largemouth bass here on the California Delta. And I want to give a big shout out to Cam Cardoza. Last week I mentioned Cam is a friend of mine. He's a friend of all you guys that are tournament angling out there. Everybody knows Cam. He's been fishing that Thursday tournament. And I think he's had 7 second place finishes and 1 third place finish. Well, last week I mentioned we need to pull for Cam to get out there and get a win. And it finally happened. So Cam, congratulations. It's a long time overdue. You've had a great season. Coming in second place in that Thursday tournament is no easy feat. There's a lot of good anglers out there. So you finally got that win. Congratulations. What did it take to win the Thursday tournament? About 19 pounds. We had the, I think it was the TBF high school tournament. We're going to talk to the kids that won that. They had 19 pounds to win that, and we're going to get into, actually, let's do this right now. Let's talk to Brian Hain and Brenner Lynn, and they'll give us a little information on what they did. They came all the way from San Diego to win this tournament. So let's check out these young high school anglers and see what they did, and then we'll get back into the final report. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'm out here at Orwood Marina today on the California Delta. This is the site of the TBF Delta Open. What is this? It's a qualifier for the national championship, the National High School Championship. I'm with a couple of guys that just won it. Guys, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Bryson Hain. I'm 16 years old. I'm from San Diego, California, and this is my partner.
I'm Brenner Lynn. I'm from San Diego, California, and I'm 18 years old.
So these guys come up from San Diego. They put in an 18-plus sack. What was your big fish today?
About 4.
About 4 pounds. And you guys are no stranger to tournament angling. You have qualified for the national championship 3 times?
3 times. Yeah.
And how about your partner?
2 times.
And last year you were sixth in the nation.
Yes, last year we came sixth.
6th in the nation, yes.
All right, so you guys are no strangers to bass fishing. It's not your first go around. So you put 18 pounds, over 18 pounds in the boat. The average weights today were probably, I'll say, 7 to 10 pounds. What did you guys do to put these fish in the boat? Well, first of all, let's talk. Were you central, south, north? Did you have to run? Did you put a lot of miles on the boat, or did you stay close to Orwood?
I'd say we stayed pretty close. Practice, we ran a little more, but generally we stayed pretty close.
Maybe max today, about a 10-minute run from here.
Okay, so you were around the Central Delta, and you guys, we were talking. You guys had one day to practice.
Yes, one day.
You're up from San Diego. That is a tough. That's a tough road to hoe, man. You're on a river that has over 1,000 miles of waterway, and you found them. You made it work during tournament day. What was the deal? Was it a grind? How many fish did you catch today?
We caught a good amount of keepers, not the winning fish.
Probably had about 12 keepers today, minus our bag.
And what was your big fish?
About 4. We were pretty consistent.
Okay, so you got 5 quality fish.
Yeah.
No toads, but those are quality fish here on the Delta. Quality fish anywhere. What'd you have to do to catch them?
We kind of just had to fish the water, fish what we know. We fish a little bit of like West Coast finesse, kind of SoCal finesse twist on everything. Yeah, and just fish confident and grinded.
Yeah, just fished our strengths. A little bit of heavy line and a lot of light line and 4-inch, 5-inch Senko.
So you guys got a couple blow-ups on frogs, and you're probably fishing those with heavy braid like everyone else is out here. But I know you're talking about finesse fishing with drop shot. Talk a little bit about your rig and what you were doing to catch the fish on the drop shot, and how deep were you catching those fish when you were drop shotting? Because I know everybody's drop shotting, everybody's throwing worms. You were doing something to separate you guys from the other folks. Were you fishing real tight to cover, like toolies in maybe 2 or 3 feet of water, or were you fishing out off of maybe drop offs and things? How deep were you fishing, and what was your finesse plan?
I'd say it kind of depended on the spot. We had some spots where we had to fish a lot like closer, and then we had some spots where we fished the drop shot or Senko and deeper grass.
Mostly hard bottom, no toolies around, and a lot of depth change.
Were you guys able to, you had one day to come out here and fish. Were you able to visually see a lot of the fish in those areas where you had the hard bottom?
Yeah, we actually had a pretty big one spotted in practice, but it just seemed like a seal caused it to like push off a little bit or whatnot in the area. But yeah, we were around some big fish.
Good. And you know what? That just proves, you can come up here. You don't need a lot of electronics here on the Delta. You guys use your intuition. You moved around a little bit. You were obviously, as I talked to you, and we've never talked before, I can tell that just from the short period of time we're talking, you guys are looking for the right stuff, the hard bottom. Everybody can find vegetation out here, but it's hard to find those areas of vegetation where the bigger fish are, and that's what you guys did. So I want to congratulate you. Let's make sure we keep in contact, and maybe we're going to have a team from California go to the Nationals and win this year.
For sure.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Good luck, and we'll see you again.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Let's get back to the report. So with that, let's get back to the tournaments. Obviously, it took 18 pounds and some change to win that tournament, 19 pounds for the Thursday tournament. I didn't hear what the Monday tournament was, but they did have a small ABA tournament out of Lads. I think that was Saturday. Had all the big sticks out there. Lorenzo Rossetti won the tournament with 26 pounds. I think Ken Ma was second or third. They had 3 bags that were right around 22 pounds. So out of the 10 or 11 boats, they had 4 bags that were over 20 pounds. Good weights, but remember, these are some of the best anglers on the Delta that were fishing this small tournament. And it just shows you the potential for the guys that really know the river, are skilled, and are out there on the right day, what the potential of the river has right now. It's there. Fishing has been good. For me, all of the reports that I've been getting, and I want to thank you guys so much for sending in the reports because they're coming in by the dozens. And I am getting a lot of reports from people struggling. A lot of people are catching smaller fish. They're not getting the big ones. And a lot of people are just plain and simply not even getting the numbers. And that's because it's the time of year. We're all going to catch a lot of small fish, and the bigger ones are hard to come by. But as these storm fronts move through, if you can't stick with it and fish them hard, and maybe you come out for a couple hours and you have a couple, you don't have very good luck and you go home, that's probably the wrong thing to do, because what you've done is you've just fished your way through the tough times and you didn't give yourself a chance to fish through the good times. So again, these bite windows are short, probably 15 minutes to a half an hour, and then you're going to have a couple hours of dead time. So just remember that. So let's talk about what I've been seeing. And number one, the morning bite and the AM bite, change of light bite, and the PM change of light bite is still not worth coming out here. I'm fishing from a half an hour before sunlight to an hour after the sun comes up, and vice versa in the evening, right at that change of light. I'm generally getting one good fish, and I'm calling a good fish between 4 and 5 pounds. I have gotten a couple of 6, and I even got a 7 a week or so ago. But one good fish in the mix, and maybe one other bite that I feel is a big bite. And after that, I have maybe 5 or 6 fish in that whole AM or PM bite window. That's not great. Not getting a lot of bites. I can't complain because I've been lucky enough to land some of the bigger bites that I've had. But all in all, it's not worth coming out super early or super late. If you're coming out 9 o'clock, you want to fish as long as you can, fish through these bite windows. Worms are still the number one bait that you're going to catch. Not only a lot of small fish, but you're going to get the bigger fish on. My second suggestion would be to throw a topwater bait. I'm throwing bubble walkers, walking baits, and poppers. They're picking up big fish, but again, if you want to catch fish on the topwaters, you can catch fish throughout the day, but you have to stay on them because the bite window is going to come and go. So, you give them 10 minutes, they don't work, and you think they're not working, that's probably not going to do it for you. There are people catching fish, reports of people catching fish on jerk baits, a lot of smaller fish on the jerk baits. Catching bigger fish on, if you want to fish reaction, they're catching bigger fish on chatter baits, although it's not on fire. That bite just hasn't happened. The frog bite, a few people are catching fish, but most people are saying, yeah, I'm throwing the frog. I only got a couple fish to come up and they didn't take the frog. So they're not really ingesting the frogs yet. Punch bite is on and off depending on the day. But if you're looking for bigger fish, frogging and punching it's going to come into play. Other than that, man, I wish I could give you guys more of a report that has some steady bite patterns, but it's just not happening on the Delta. I'm hoping that as the storm fronts move through and we get some sunny weather and that water temperature starts to come up, we get sunlight penetration, it's going to break loose again. We're going to have some really good fishing. So stick with me, and next week I hope to have a better report. I will be doing a video this week sometime, and I'll be talking about how these storm fronts have been affecting the spawn. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check out that video. So in closing, I'll just say it is worth getting out and fishing the Delta right now, especially after these storms move through. You should have fun. So go out there. If you get some a good one, send me a picture. If you go out and your fishing's not that great, continue to send me the reports because they help me formulate what I'm talking about on the weekly report. But with that, go out, have fun, be safe. We'll see you guys on the river. Good luck.